Hey, Guillermo.
Okay.
Hey, long time.
Yes.
Welcome. Welcome to come back to Guillermo and Lee conversation. Guillermo is the Argentinian artist, now also Slovenian, living in Slovenia in Europe. So he has been practice in art, music, dance, all different kinds of art form, ceramic, as well as sculpture for a long time. So I'm very happy to know about the venture, the story from you. Last time we were um, in the trip, your trip in France, in the western north France. So you mentioned you were in some kind of village, yeah? Could you maybe reverse a little bit to us?
Yes, this was my first time in Europe. We went to Paris for a few days, and then we ended up traveling in Bretagne with my girlfriend at that time and her
Mm-hmm.
twin sister for around 2 months. And we were interviewing druids. They were interviewing druids because I didn't understand any French at that time. So I was drawing them. I made drawings of them, because I could understand maybe around 10-15% of what they were talking. We visit one druid, and this druid gave us the contact for the next one, and subsequently we end up interviewing 9 druids in total. They were all different. They were in different locations, and they were actually, we started from the south and went north, I
Mm-hmm.
think, something like that. The last one was a druid that it used to be a druid and was expelled from this brotherhood or something because he talked too much and he revealed some secrets that he was not supposed to do. But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, the last one we visited before him gave us his contact. So it was something like that. They probably wrote an email to them or talk on the phone, and they agreed that we visit. And then we went to take the bikes and do, like, I don't know, 100 kilometers or 30 or 60, I don't remember. And then we appeared there at their home, and we had a meeting of a few hours with them. That was in every case. This druid was very liberal in a way, and I think he was the most, I don't know what to say, the most, the less ceremonials, like the less mysterious of them. He was more like a kind of intellectual and maybe like a spiritual seeker or something, who
Mm-hmm.
happened to be for some time within Druidism, but at some point he just continued through. He was not shy, or he was not like hurt because the Druids kicked him out. He said like, they don't understand nothing or something. And he went on in his research. He was probably around 50 something.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a good state. And well, the idea about him, the thing I remember the most, because as I told you, I didn't understand much what they were talking all the time. And he's the only one I don't have a drawing from. Maybe he didn't like the idea of me drawing him,
Mm.
or maybe I ran out of materials. I don't remember actually, but I don't have any portrait of him. I have portraits, the others. Um, I will send you the portraits. So I only have photos of them because the portraits got lost. Um, One of the druids before mentioned a story about an knight and a black horse who goes in the forest and suddenly sees a beautiful woman on a white horse, and he heads his horse toward her, and the closer he gets, she starts moving and start to go away. So he chases her, and the more he speed. The more he speed up, the more he pursue her, the farthest he get. And this druid, this previous one, was not the previous before him, but was one on the list who conducted a ceremony in the forest, which we have somehow registered in some video of low resolution. I still have. He explained to us that this story was a symbol of how the intellect cannot achieve knowledge. Like the more you chase with the intellect, the knowledge, the farthest the knowledge goes. And then, this other person, this next druid, he talked about other things which I don't remember, or maybe I actually never heard. But when the girls mentioned this story, he says, you see, I am telling you, they don't know what they are talking about. Because the story doesn't finish what he said. The story continues, and the story continues in the following way. He says, this knight in the black horse chased the girl. The girl is further and further every time. But at some point, he stops the horse. And when he stops the horse, the girls come to him.
Oh, so he stopped chasing.
Yeah, he stopped chasing the girl in the white horse. And the moment he did that, the girl stopped running away. And then eventually she actually came to him. This was the last. I will not try to interpret it so that people can find their own associations in this story. But I think this was a very nice conclusion of all this trip, and it was like something. When I was there, I thought I need to come immediately after a few months and visit these guys again, and we should keep contact and we should write and all kind of ideas I had. But then nothing actually happened. I never contact them again. I don't know. We probably could fetch their contacts again if I make an effort. But yeah, it was really like this type of feeling where you see like a certain type of human that resembles a lot your own search and your own interests in a very different way according to the context. No, like they had this French context which has some specificities and they were there, but in a way I could sense, even if I didn't understand the language, I could sense that this was the type of people that I usually have as friends or teachers or mentors. It's like some humans with some specific interest and some specific tendencies and predilections for deep conversations and seek of knowledge, some kind of experimental path of constantly searching for truths. So I don't know. Now that I'm talking about them, I felt that it will be really interesting to try to contact them again, because now I can speak French to them or English or something, to all these things that I couldn't do before. And try to see what is their memory of our visit. One of the things I think I didn't mention the last time, when it was this idea of the cultural shock, I think.
Cultural shock.
Was, that there was a moment where I ended up under a table in a garden and I couldn't go out. It's like how the pressure of the reality was so high that I stay stuck under this table. My girlfriend has to talk to me like half an hour just to go out of this table. Maybe I remember I mentioned it in another. I don't know if we talk this in private or not. After this last druid, we probably came back to the original spot, which is this uncle of her, aunt and uncle. And from there, we separated from her sister. And then we had to go out of Europe because we had like a short period of time, maybe around 2-3 weeks, to go out of Schengen. And I didn't want to have any kind of legal problems or something. And I liked it until then, because the main proposal when she brought me here was, if you don't like it, you can come back. We have a ticket of return. If you don't like it, you come back to your life in Chile. But I quickly discarded the idea of coming back, although I didn't know. It's not that I had a great job or I didn't have like a great opportunities, but the context was so epic, and the castles and the culture, everything was so intense, and the language, the food, everything was so unique that I didn't even think it twice about staying, you know, and see, I thought, well, I will find a way, you know. It wasn't so simple, but actually we dropped the bikes and we started hitchhiking towards, they calculated, because at that time I had no idea of anything. They calculated that Croatia was the first border, the closest border. So we head towards Croatia from France. And then we were hitchhiking to the south first, and then we were in this area of the south of France, which is so characteristic and so specific in a way that I found out later, reading a lot of history about this area, about the heresies and the religious movements in the Middle Ages, the language of the birds that the troubadours have. There is a lot of mystery and a lot of a lot of symbolism and amazing culture in this area. Aix-en-Provence and all this area, there was all this specific language, and there was a lot of culture, a lot of stories that I really enjoy. I felt very, very strongly this area. I came back many times after for different reasons, and I always felt some kind of haunting feeling about belonging there in some way, you know. Although in the real life you feel like you are completely rejected by the environment, you know, because it's super rich, and unless you are connected, unless you have a friend there or something, it's like it's all like isolated from you, you know. It's like nobody tries to contact you, nobody reacts to you. It's just like nothing. But at the same time that I was experiencing this harsh reality of what I was really happening with my body in this location and my condition, at the same time I had all this mystical trip with the buildings, and I remember standing in front of a sculpture of some kind of knight, you know, like that was from there and went to Jerusalem or something. And I was so glued to this sculpture in some very strange way, which I still don't understand. I think I need to go back there and then spend more time.
You're probably you're probably one of the crusade.
Well, I love the idea.
Okay. Remember, we were in this museum in
Many
the
things would
same.
make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, you seem
You were in the museum and they put me this.
you seem have this connection with those. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I have. We'll see. I don't know. I need to become stronger now. I went through some difficult times, and then I will actually try to explore a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
I have these swords, which are in my mind they are swords, but in the real life they are just like these iron beams for construction, you know. But these are my swords, and I use them, you know. And then I train. If I have a garden where it doesn't look too dangerous, I would practice this every day, you know. The other day we were moving all my stuff, and then my two friends like Alan and Owen were helping, and I said, "Oh, these are my swords, you know." And they are engineers, you know. They're engineers. They were looking these sticks, these iron sticks from construction, and they were laughing, you know. But
Yeah, trying to
trying
improve it.
to understand the place where my mind is, you know, like if these are swords and everything he says, what it really would be, you know, like start to ponder. You know?
Yeah, real engineer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so in the end, this is another incredible story that we had in a very, very compressed time compressed. We had incredible experiences. We had some interesting hitchhiking with very special people. I was so curious. I was asking million questions as fast as I could. I think my girlfriend was translating. And then at some point, we hit some guy who was an English, I don't know, Englishman with a van. He had this perfect suit, with a chain, with a clock, and a very beautiful hat. And I don't know, he has a cravat, or he has like this thing, and these things here and here. But he was like a truck driver. His job was to be a truck driver, but he was dressed like.
It's like a character from the Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yes, yes. And he liked us so much. He was a character so special because even if I didn't understand nothing in the beginning, I sensed that actually he was so free. He was around 60 or 70 already. And he was so free in his mind that he saw that we had some kind of momentum, with her, with my girlfriend. We were like into some direction. And he just lifted these two hitchhiker and he says, come in, just to have somebody to talk. But when he realized who we were or in which type of trip we were, he joined us. And he said, oh, you know what? I never visit Venice in my whole life. What if we go all to Venice? And he got it in the moment, and it's not that the guy didn't have money to go to Venice whenever he wanted, but it was something that for some reason didn't happen to him. And he kind of calculated our momentum and he just joined this speed that we had. But he was supporting in a way. He was driving, and he was trying to teach us what is to be a lord, what is to be like a perfect lord or something like that. And then he will say, okay, now in Italy they have this special food. The portions are very big, and because he was a truck driver, he knew all the restaurants and everything on the way. And then he stopped, and then he says, look and learn how you should behave in a restaurant. And then we went in, and then he stand there. He didn't go into a hotel. He just stand near the door. And he says, we need to wait until they come to ask what do we need. And then we were waiting there, and eventually the waiters came. So what do you need? Table for three. And then he was teaching like every single way, how to grab the glasses, how to use the knives, how to address the from nowhere. And well, I understood very little of what he was saying, but I catch the situation because my girlfriend was translating. So he was really amazed with the art that I was doing. I had some watercolors and some ink, Indian ink, and I was constantly doing some drawings of the people or whatever I see. And he was constantly buying them, for a short period that we were together, maybe 1 week. He was like buying them. I don't know if he wanted to support me or if he wanted, he really likes them and he couldn't just buy them because they were so cheap for him, in a way. I think I was selling for 10 euros every drawing. So yeah, I was constantly drawing. It was some kind of therapy or some way to canalize all this complexity. And he was constantly buying them until we left. In the end, he made all kinds. He was super smart and intelligent, and he had very complex strategies in place. So he created an idea, say like, look, I can drive you to the port where you will take the boat, which was like 2 days more or something, or 1 day more of trip. He brought us to Venice, and in Venice he got us a hotel, and he got us into a like very expensive boat. All the things that he always wanted to do, he did them, with us. And he went us with a very expensive shop, like in the movies, of clothing, and got us like a hat to each one. He bought us some book for writing our memoirs. All the things that you see in the movie, like when you see like this guy who rescue another guy and bring him to these very expensive shops and then create a new life. Like he did something of this sort for both of us. And in the end, because he enjoyed so much, he kind of proposed that if we will drive him back, I don't know, something very complex to his house. He needs to do some kind of business for one day, and then he can drive us to the actual port in Italy, where we will take the boat and we will be out of Schengen, which was our goal. And then because we were like floating, we say yes, why not? So we went back to his apartment. He says, okay, see you in this other village. I don't know, like I didn't understand, but like 1 hour away from there. And he left us alone in his apartment with all his belongings and went away. And the next day we should wake up and go and meet him 1 hour away in another village, And we did that, And when we picked him up in this other village, he asked us to go back to his apartment, probably because my guess was that he wanted to see if we was told everything, like because he really left us everything, like a test of trust or something like that. He had this strange mind, like a kind of a gambler, the sacred gambler, gambling with really strange values, risking all his property just to test the trust of two hitchhikers, like completely crazy. And he brought us back to home, and it was a shock for us. We knew we didn't touch anything, but it was so mind bending the fact that he created all this scenario. And I think he was really surprised when he came back. He saw everything was intact, and he was really satisfied. And then he drove us to the end, like I don't know how many, half a day driving or something. And at the end, he even gave my girlfriend like a chunk of money like that for our trip, At the end, he put it in her pocket or something.
Wow.
And then we were, this was incredible. Like you go to a foreign country, you have all this cultural shock, and then you have all this very strange self-reflection about how everybody is so comfortable and wealthy and perfect, and you are so miserable there. And suddenly you have this type of encounters with creatures that they seem like from a book, They seem like characters from a book, and that you actually, you become like a character in a book, having an impossible adventure on top of the layer of reality where you are broke and you are like, you don't understand nothing and you don't know what will happen to yourself. A very strange experience, maybe something to ponder in the next chapters about this. Having a concrete experience of some sort and having another layer on top of it of meaning where you can resignify what is happening to you at the literal level,
Because now you are already in Venezia, yeah, already left, Okay, but you mentioned so many today. I mean, maybe we can take it a little bit slowly because I'm sure there are many things happen in southern France. Yeah, you mentioned this place you feel like you are very familiar with, although you don't know people, you don't like you feel there's some kind of difficulty, but you feel the connection with the place, with the sculpture, statues. Like I'm sure there are a lot of detail there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe in next episode we can rewind a little bit back to there, because I'm very interested in what kind. Because in fact, I also have a similar feeling. I want to know what do you feel like, and so I can, because every time I went to France, or the first time I came to Europe, I feel that connection. But in my sense, I know it will be difficult. It will be no real connection now. There will be very, but with the environment, with the energy there, I feel like so familiar with. I feel like this is where I should be. This kind of feeling. Yeah.
I belong here somehow in a very
Exactly.
strange way. Yes.
Yeah. And so maybe we can. I know the title. Maybe I will put the familiar foreign land in southern France. Maybe,
Yes.
yeah, maybe
Yeah, this experience that I mentioned, like I couldn't resist to talk about that. This
mm,
happens several years later,
oh,
when I started to come back to do the harvest. The-
ah, I
and
see.
when I had already read many books in French about the heresies and all the events that happened in the Middle Ages in this area.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
That was but it just took me, when I was referring to the transition between visiting the Druids and going out of Europe. And then I
Mm,
remembered something that happens like years later,
mm,
because I
yeah,
came back many times to this area.
I see. Yeah,
So we can for sure talk
that's
more
interesting
in
because
depth about that.
we are following some kind of timeline in your
This helps a
journey.
little bit, yeah.
Yes, but it is okay. We can also jump. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a big problem because sometimes, yes, when we recall something connect to each other, but they might be not at the specific time. Yeah, so
Yes.
that's okay. Yeah, yeah. I just feel like I'm so interested in the kind of experience you also have. Um, because particularly like maybe I feel much stronger in France than Germany. Like the kind of feeling. I mean, Germany is also very nice and feeling better than Canada. Sorry, Canada, but but it's different. Yeah, you are in a different
You
place. And you feel like the so yeah. So
Yeah, it's something very old there. In France, there are thousands of years of history,
and they preserve it. Yeah,
and
and
they're still
also
there.
and also luckily many wasn't destroyed by the war, so they can survive. So
Yeah,
that
many things were preserved. Texts were translated, preserved in other places. There are sculptures on stone, and they're
mm,
very hard to destroy everywhere. And there is a lot of yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so it was very nice, and thank you for today, and thank you for everybody continue listening. And if you are listening, please subscribe and any if you have any experience you can share with us, you're welcome to join us. And yeah, and we also expect later we'll have more video from Guillermo about his art and some nice music video. Please expect that. Um, so thank you for very much, Guillermo, and see you next time.
See you next time. The south of France.
Yes. Yes.